What's up, you fools? It's Matt, ESC United, your favorite Eurovision channel. This was day 5 of rehearsals. It was a long day. It was a little different than the previous days where we had like the first half of semi-1 rehearsed and then the second half, and all of that stuff. No, it was just a very fast day. We had 15, right? 15 countries rehearsed. The first 15 countries of semi-final 1. They had their second individual rehearsal and therefore also the last one. And I figured let's just summarize it and see what our thoughts are and share with you our personal top 3, and we go for them one by one. There were a few system issues, we'll go over that later, but Zach, let's start with Cyprus starting it out all this morning. What do you think?
Yeah, good solid lead. Looks like there's still some kinks that they have to kind of smooth out, but a lot of good potential with this one.
Yeah. My concern was that the problem was we didn't get sound or anything until like 10 minutes into it. That means she already has rehearsed 1.5 times. So we got like the second half of the second run through, and then the only one we got completely was the third run through, and it was good. I personally, that brightened up the stage from the second one. I just feel as it's still too dark for my taste. Vocally, it was not her best, but there's still room for improvement. That was my impression. So this is not, I wouldn't call it my favorite rehearsal of the day, but there's still potential. So the next one on the list is Montenegro, number 2, Dimo. Zach, talk to me.
Yeah, really good vocalist, but there's still some struggles with staging and camera work. We saw some issues, and that's a little scary to see in a second rehearsal. And they're still trying to figure out that closing part. I mean, they have a lot of chemistry, but the chemistry's coming off as a bit forced, especially with that closing part. And I just wish they could figure out another option to make it more natural at the end.
Yes. No, he got it already with the end thing, and he pointed out the camera work is the fact that they're a good amount. The issue is they have 6 people, so you have to have so much work done. You know, this person, that person. When this person sings, you have to have that camera there. And there were times where the camera was on the wrong guy at some point, and for the entire verse almost. And yeah, that was kind of awkward. So I think it's really the camera work that needs improvement. As far as their energy, as you said, they have chemistry. They look good together. I just really hope that. I just still don't like the ending, but that still it all needs to come together. It's just not quite coming together for me. What about Finland? Darude was the third one of the evening.
Yeah, I felt like I was really excited about this entry before arriving in Tel Aviv, and it's just sort of puttering through. Like, it's just kind of there, and it's unfortunate to have such a huge name in the EDM industry and just to get that response.
Yes. I thought I feel as he dropped in the betting odds after, his first rehearsal. I was slightly surprised. I'm like, I thought it looked good. I like the backdrop. I like what they're doing with it. Is there sometimes the stage feel a little empty? Yes, I will say that. However, I feel as vocally has come together, they're mixing the backup vocals with Sebastian better. We didn't get the oomph what we needed in the press center, like the beat, the bass, so it's always just kind of a little bit wishy-washy. But other than that, I thought it was a pretty good rehearsal. I don't know what people are so upset about it, but that is just me. What about Poland? Let me go first on Poland. The probably one of the most improved rehearsals in my view. I thought that what I loved the most is how they changed the unveiling thing. Where previously they lifted it awkwardly. That's exactly, they just cut them off.
Rip it off.
They rip it off. That was really cool. I really like that. And they are much more in sync. They're much more comfortable and relaxed. I still say it's a little bit too robotic for my taste, so loosen up even more. But as we said in the first video, the foundation is there, and I think they are on the right path. This was a really good rehearsal, and Poland, the Polish team Tule, should be very excited about this one.
Yeah, I mean, they have such great vocals. Sounds just like the studio version. I don't mind the robotic movement. I feel it's kind of part of the act, is that that's what we expect with them. And just looking at their music videos and things like that and other performances, I mean, I get the vibe that they're fun girls, and I am very welcome to it.
Yeah. Now, the next one was Slovenia. Slovenia, I have nothing to add. The two of us talked about it. They were ready after the first individual rehearsal. They're ready after this one even more. I'm sure they made some changes to the camera angles that we don't really notice, but other than that, it seems almost identical to me. Beautiful backdrop. I still have the same complaints that I had before, and that divides the people. Some people agree, some people don't agree, is the way that she just sings to him, no movements whatsoever. It's a turn off for me, but that is me.
Yeah, people are either going to be enthralled by the relationship that the two have, or they're going to be bored by it because there's no interaction with the audience. And sometimes I worry about when Eurovision acts sing to themselves versus singing out to the audience, to the televoters, to the jurors. So I could see it going either way. It's one of my favorite songs this year. I'd love to see the former versus the latter.
Yeah. So, interesting enough, we cannot really discuss Czech Republic. They performed sixth right after the lunch break, but we had apparently technical difficulties. A camera broke, so we did not see any of the rehearsals. So, from everything what we're doing today, Czech Republic is excluded as well as from our top three because we cannot judge them or bottom, anything like that. So, we're going to move on right over to Hungary. Also, we missed the first rehearsal on that one, the first run through. We saw the rest. So, what do you think, Zach?
I mean, I always will have a fondness for his entry in 2017, but this entry has slowly been growing on me a lot more, and I think the staging really complements the message he's trying to portray in his song and the story that the performance is giving. So it's slowly been rising in my radar. Will it do as good as the song did in 2017 did? I'm not sure yet, but I do feel comfortable saying that I do expect to see Hungary in the final.
Ooh, bold, comfortable prediction there. I felt that this particular rehearsal was somewhat of an improvement in certain ways. They definitely lit up the faces a little bit. You still don't see the eyes of his own dad when it comes up, but at least the other ones you see the eyes now, so not these scary faces anymore. So it makes it a little bit more real, and I think that is a major improvement. I do think that is a specific energy that this song radiates, and either people respond to it or not. But I like it, and I think it was a solid rehearsal. All right, let's move on to Belarus. Zina, did you like it?
Yeah, I heard a lot of people having some concerns about it, but from what I'm gathering, there's been a lot of improvements, a lot of changes in the staging, what she's wearing, what the backdrop is. So Belarus really went back and thought a lot about what they wanted to do to improve the song, and what I saw was a well thought out, well fleshed out rehearsal with interactions with the backup singers and the dancers, and it looked really good.
Yeah. So I actually saw Belarus in the arena, so we were able to go in today, and I only went in for one rehearsal, and that was for Belarus. So actually I only saw the first one, then I went back in, so I saw both in the arena and on screen. And she changed her outfit, first of all. That's very important to point out. I think out of all the rehearsals, this is one that changed the most that I have seen. She also, I think there was a good amount of change in the choreography, unless I don't remember all of that, like certain spinning stuff that they did with the dancers. The dancers wore different outfits. It is definitely, compared to the last one, a significant improvement. And even though I'm not crazy about the song, I gotta acknowledge they put a lot of effort into this. She sounds amazing, and good job for Belarus. Absolutely.
I feel they do that quite a bit every so often. They are willing to make changes, to make pretty significant changes as doable, and usually they work out for the best.
Yes. It's amazing how they do that. What about next up, Serbia, Kruna?
Oh wow! Her vocals are outstanding. Her showmanship on stage. It's very funny because here you have this very strong woman who we've seen grow up,
yes,
literally in front of us, from Junior Eurovision to Eurovision 2013. But there's still a bit of that youth when she's doing the air guitar right before the second chorus. There's a lot of likable aspects to this performance, not including her voice, her stage presence, and just the backdrop itself. So gorgeous. And the hologram was pretty amazing to see once they got it figured out.
Yes. So they have this hologram where she kind of not dances, but moves almost in a circle, like sort of around, and then the effect comes on there. They still need to figure out the positioning of that. So that is still a concern, but they still have time for that. They can even do that without her. So no, that's not as big of an issue. But it looks amazing. And then later on, at the very end, the last run through, they have all these lasers with the smoke and the fog effect. It creates this beautiful atmosphere. It looks gorgeous and amazing. And if anyone doubts Serbia's qualification, you're loco. That's what I'm saying. What's next? Oh, Belgium, Elliot, wake up.
Yeah, I kind of feel like this is one that's potentially getting lost in the mix, just going around so many outstanding entries. And that's just to talk about the quality of songs this year. I do feel like there are improvements. One of my complaints during the first run through was that when the backup dancers were banging on the drums, it looked very fake, and that they've taken care of that issue. They're more confident in their ability to bang the drum. But I do think there's still lacking some of that energy that I was hoping to see. As noted, I feel it's very strong in the choruses, but the verses, it's getting there, but it isn't there just yet.
Yes, and that's exactly my fear as well. And I've picked up a vibe in the press center as well, with people in general, that they got distracted. Like they didn't pay close attention to Belgium because it didn't grab them a whole lot. And I think that happened to me as well. So at this point, it really just became a little bit more repetitive sounding than interesting. And I don't think the staging really helps it. Elliot is a very likable young man, and I said earlier on the live stream that either people will gravitate towards his, oh, he's so sweet and innocent, he seems like a real cute boy, I like it, or they're going to be turned off and like, I don't think he's intimidated, I don't get him. So I don't know where the chips are going to fall, but that is my fear. I was not mesmerized by it, but I was not offended by it either. So it was there for me. Let's talk about Georgia. As far as Georgia is concerned, I think they are almost done rehearsing. Their staging is one of the more impressive ones with the fire and the whole progression of what they're doing. I like the backup vocals, the camera work that didn't work before. They fixed a lot, and I think we were originally on the live stream together on Sunday, I think, when we talked about what needs to be fixed, like those angles from behind, you know, when they were panning around, and they fixed that. And I felt like, yeah, I feel vindicated. So I think they fixed the things that are needed to be done, and I think they're ready.
Yeah, I do feel like a lot of improvements have been made with the specific issues they had concerns about, which was made obvious through the constant going back to the camera roll on those particular camera angles that were questionable, and they fixed them, and it looks great.
Yeah, that sums it up. What about Australia coming next up in the rehearsals?
Well, I mean, you know, this was already a breathtaking performance, but they really took care of those issues. Like, you aren't seeing the pulls until the Nothing Holding Me Down part, and the first time you see it, it's a pretty breathtaking angled view of all three individuals, Kate and her two backup dancers, twirling simultaneously. And now there's almost this presence, this feel that she's almost this goddess looking down on earth when she's singing, and I really like that.
Yeah, it's a really cool performance. It came all together very nicely, and I'm very excited about this. They fixed the issues with the stick, and considering it's such elaborate staging that they're almost done with it, it's pretty impressive. The only thing we pointed out earlier is also that some of the backup singers, I mean, it is tough to be on this, and it seems that they're strained. They're a little, like, stressful, like, on there, like, getting back in position like they had to. So I dropped my phone. And but other than that, I think this was a fantastic second rehearsal. Australia is on a roll here, on a roll for sure. What about Iceland?
Yeah, I don't know if y'all heard that. There's an air show going on right now as well.
Oh yeah, that's
yeah.
Cool.
So Iceland, wow, Iceland. What can I say, or what can I say about it other than the hammer's back? Are pretty much the hammer that he may have forgotten to pack in his kid let him borrow his version of it, which is still pretty freaking huge. But everything's really coming together. Vocals sounded better. You know, I still worry how the juries are going to respond to this, but I think the televoters are going to love it.
Yes, I think they're on the right track. They did what they could, and once, especially the last run through and all the fire and the smoke comes in, it's like we talked about, we're not comparing the song to Fuego, right? But certainly like the fire level that comes in, that was quite a impressive number. It's from the beginning. The first note, fire. For entire songs, fire everywhere, and then until it ends on that. It's
Everyone's eyebrows in the golden circle are going to be singed off.
Yes, but it's going to be so powerful. I'm still worried about the juries as well, but I'm hopeful they will appreciate something that original in Eurovision. So we loved it. We absolutely loved it. And what about Estonia?
Something's just not connecting with Estonia. They are struggling. They are so focused on their big old reveal of the dual green screen, one for Victor, one for the storm background. It's just not working out. I mean, I just question their use of it, and just something's not adding up. And with all the fireworks that are occurring around it, they really need to pull this together. I mean, they really have not had too many full run-throughs on stage because they're so fixated on this green screen effect that they just aren't working. So we're still going to see a lot of changes being done in the dress rehearsal on Monday afternoon.
Yes. You nailed that one. It's exactly, we have to wait for the dress rehearsals because you could see Victor getting like slightly frustrated at some point because they had to reshoot that scene, you know, where he circles around in the storm, which is going to be pre-recorded on a green screen, and they stopped playing the song. He's like, can we get this done? Because their time is tick-tock, you know, is ending there. So they only had to get, I think, just 2 run-throughs. And that was slightly unfortunate for them because they only had two of them the first time around, so they had less than anyone else. And vocally, he was a little shaky, not as consistent, but maybe his frustration kind of played a part in that. I don't know. This could still all come together, and I'm pretty sure it will, but it was not necessarily, it made me a little nervous what happened today.
That seems to be the trend with Estonia. It all coming together at the very end.
We all remember
struggle.
We remember 2015. Goodbye to yesterday. Somebody struggled, and then it looked amazing. So, on the last act rehearsing tonight was Portugal. What do you think?
Yeah, Portugal really has to rethink some of their camera work. I was talking about it on the live stream, but there's just a lot of camera angles that don't work. A lot of far shots when there should be close-ups. A lot of more sporadic frenetic shots that are needed. The problem is the national final performance was so perfect that you could only go down from there, and unfortunately the camera angles are just not replicating what I thought they would have done with the national final, and you can tell it's just not having the same effect. I mean, the press center almost seemed to have written it off by now, and it's really sad to see.
It is very sad, and I agree with you because I didn't figure out exactly what it was. For me, the stage felt empty, and that is why, because of the camera angle. They zoomed far out, and he was doing his dance thing, and we need to see this. Why are we all the way back in the audience, in the arena? It made no sense to me. So yes, we all loved the national final performance. It was amazing. It was perfect, and for some reason, even though they're going for the similar theme, it's just not coming across that way. Keep in mind also Dancer is holding back right now because he's injured, so it's a little bit more difficult to go into the details, but really just what Zach just said, it's the camera work. I hope they can fix something about that, but time's running out. So that was my concern as well. So those were the 15 acts that rehearsed today. Again, we kind of have to exclude Czech Republic due to the technical difficulties, but let's share our top three, whatever criteria, the top three of the day, and go from there. Who was it? Zach, who's your number three and why?
Number three was Poland. I thought Poland had a really strong vocal performance. I thought it was staying true to who they are, and it also showed a little bit of personality. I don't mind some of the robotic movements a bit. I thought it was a really cool, colorful, memorable performance. I really feel like in some cases that's really where the show's starting to kick off.
Yes.
I mean, no offense to Cyprus, but Poland really got me hooked, and maybe it's just because I didn't get to see much of Cyprus, but what I did see of Cyprus I liked, but Poland just sucked me in a little bit more.
Yes, I'm kind of on the same page, and we did not compare notes, by the way, so if our top three look similar, it's coincidence, because I put Poland in third place as well. I felt the same way. This felt to me like this is where the show started, almost, and especially I feel one of the most improved performances. What?
We're the same. We're the same,
and that's weird because we're usually not. It really feels as it comes together, and we criticized them quite a bit. I think whoever did the video with, we both said was the most disappointing one. The first, it was Sean and I said, I think was the most disappointing one, and now we feel as this is the most improved one at the same time. It really came together. They fixed the things that we really didn't like, and they have everything in sync. They know where to be, and yeah, I was totally into Poland today. So, who is your second place?
I think we should say it together because I think I know what the answer is going to be. Our top three is going to be the same. So 3, 2, 1. Iceland.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, this isn't going to be exciting for people wanting diversity of our readership because I know it's number one as well. Yeah, Iceland had a really solid performance. The pyrotechnics and the smoke and the sparklers really just added it to that whole apocalyptic hell feel. The discussion on the live stream said it best, this is what nightmares are made of, and one viewer replied, this would be my wet dream, and people are really going to go for this. I think the televoters are going to love it. Again, not sure about the jurors.
Yeah. I don't know what else to say. If this doesn't qualify, something is wrong with the universe. I feel as the Eurovision gods will reward this one. It was so good. And yes, the lead singer, sometimes his vocals are not quite there. Today they were for the most part, and if he keeps it there, I think there's nothing that can stop them with everything together, the energy, and it's a feast. It's a visual feast, and also audio obviously as well. So yes, so I'm worried we're gonna have the same top one, but go ahead, Zach.
3, 2, 1. Australia.
God darn it. All right, why don't you go first?
I mean, I don't think there's anything else to say. That was one of the most orgasmic, to my eyes, experiences I could see. It was just a lot to take in, and it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I felt like the story really came together for the first time. The light bulb went off for me about what the story was that it was trying to tell, and it's a sequel almost to the previous national performance, but a step beyond that.
Yes.
And I really liked it.
Yes, it's amazing. It's one of the, I said actually as we were on the live stream, I'm like, I think this is one of my favorite rehearsals in a long time, potentially ever. It's amazing. Even if you don't like the song, you will appreciate the visuals. It is something that we've never seen at Eurovision before. Some people think it's too technical, blah, 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 but I think it's done so well. And I love the song anyway, but the staging really elevated it to a new high. So it was definitely all the things that didn't quite work in the first rehearsal, they fixed them. I think they're almost ready. A few things here and there, but they are doing pretty darn good for such a elaborate staging. So I am amazed. So yeah, we have the same top three, which is kind of boring.
And
but
we're going to have the same disappointing one, I know it.
Okay, why don't you go? I forgot actually to look up my. Oh, actually, I do have it. Yeah. Okay.
3, 2, 1. Portugal. I don't think there's anything more I can say. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse or dragon at this point. I had such high hopes for this, and I do note that, you know, we're coming at this from a different angle, being in the press, being in the Eurovision bubble. People may look at it and really find it complex and perplexing and may vote for it as a result. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, but it's just the stage feels really empty, and I'm not sure if they're purposely going for that or what, but it's just not clicking for me.
Yeah.
And I hate that.
Yeah, no, he sums it up. That's exactly. It feels empty. It feels the energy, the excitement that we had was missing. Once again, I'll take into consideration all the factors we discussed, you know, the injury and all of that stuff, but it's more beyond that. It's beyond that.
Yeah.
It's the everything else with the camera we're talking about, and something isn't right. Maybe it's the lighting, maybe it's the outfits. There's so many different things that come into play. I don't feel the excitement, and everyone who watches my video, they know I'm a fan of the song. So maybe it's my own fault for having certain expectations that I didn't meet. I don't know, but I felt most let down by Portugal today.
This is a song about, you know, trying to contact loved ones beyond this world,
Yeah.
beyond the grave. And just the white outfits from the national final kind of gave it that really otherworldly kind of feel. And I feel like the green costumes are maybe distracting from that. Like, I could look at the costume and designs and kind of connect the dots.
Yeah.
This one, I'm not sure I get it yet.
Yeah. It's not there yet. And yeah, with Portugal and Belgium, there were the two I felt like today where people really stop paying attention after the first or second run through. They just kind of like do their own thing, and that is usually not a good sign to me. But those are our thoughts, even though they're pretty similar. Usually we're not like that. Leave your thoughts below. Don't get mad if you don't agree. We would love to hear if you watch those clips on YouTube. You can watch about 30 seconds of the actual camera work. Let us know. Leave your thoughts below in the comment section. We would love to talk to you, because we'll be back tomorrow where we have 11 more semifinalists rehearse, and then the big five will be back. Not will be back, we'll be rehearsing for the first time, as well as the host nation, Israel. So everyone, have a good night.